Hello friends, welcome back to this fourth session on fragment special series on Zentangle. We are already down 3 tiles wherein we try different types of fragments. This is in a triangle reticulum, this is again in squares, this is in squares but arranged in a spiral, right? So we have been trying different fragments in different grids, and today is the fourth session. Again we will try some different fragments, and first draw a different kind of a grid, right? So I'm going to start with this wavy grid, add a double line, right? So I'm adding a string or a grid, whatever you want to call it. Again, starting here, adding a double line, so flowing in somewhere in the center, through the center of the tile, like this. Yeah, so this is the grid that we are going to work on today, and let's get started right away. Yeah, so I'm going to first ink the lines, and then we are going to work on fragments in between spaces, right? So the second one, I think it is a bit thicker, so I'm going to cut it down. Again an aura, and the third one, again an aura. Yeah, so that's a simple string. I'm now going to add some orbs here, right? So we start from a big one. So today we will work on fragments inside orbs, right? Inside circles. So I'm going to add orbs inside these segments that I created. They are automatically descending in size because of the kind of string that we chose. So take your time and slowly insert orbs from one end to the other. Right? So I'm going to be working on a fragment called, the reference number is C22. I'm going to mention it at the end of the video, and it's a simple fragment to draw. I'm just going to draw these curves on both sides, as many as you want. Just make sure there is some distance in between the curves and you don't join them. And then straight lines or slightly curved lines in between. Like this, right? A small little thing that you can do is to ink the first one just like a moon. It will add to the look of the fragment, right? So now you can add, either draw same all of them in the same fashion, or you can rotate the directions, right? So I'm going to rotate the directions, so they are going to be not all lying in the same manner. They are just floating around, right? Simple fragment to draw. We have seen this kind of embellishment to our jetties also. It's a very common way to embellish your jetties. and it is also a very nice fragment capable of forming metapatterns when arranged in different ways. Right? So again, you can change the direction, take your time. Or you can draw all in one and the same direction, entirely up to you. Okay. So I'll continue in this fashion. Yeah, and some kind of straight lines in the center. You can also add highlight to the line. Just vary the pen pressure as you start and end the line. It adds character to your line. Yeah, so I'll do that for all. So I have added one fragment in all of these orbs. Now a small variation of the same fragment, instead of having straight lines in the center, you can have the same curved lines on all four sides, right? So what I am talking about is 1, 2, 3 and 4, 1, 2, 3 and probably 4, and then again 2, 3 and 4. So this becomes a different fragment, right? Small little variation. The inside you can either leave it empty or you can add another orb and ink the rest, right? So entirely up to you how you want to go about it as far as the inside section is concerned. So again, you can vary, or you can draw all of them in the same fashion. 4, you can start from the outermost. 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then you can insert an orb inside if you feel like, or you can leave it as it is, like this. Yeah. Yeah, so it's not important that all should have the same number of auras, because you can see the size of the orbs is diminishing, right? So the number of auras will also diminish, so that's okay. Yeah, so take your time and add this beautiful fragment throughout. So I have done drawing the two fragments, right? They are both fragments drawn inside orbs, right? And arranged in a string or a grid. Now this space which is left in between, we can either add something like hybrid or we can ink it, right? So even inking is not a bad idea here. So let's see if leaving a slight space we can ink it. Why I am leaving the space? Because I have inking under the orbs also here, right? So this inking and that inking should remain discrete. That's why I'm leaving, basically auraing that triangular space that I have and then inking it, right? So that both my inked portions remain discrete. right? Again rotating and doing the same exercise on the other side. So you can also add hybrid here or something like bedweed. Spaces are small. You can also insert orbs just like a tangle onomato. So many choices there. So do as you feel like. Yeah. This section also you can do the same thing or you can do something else. So I'm going to go with the same because I'm liking it that way. So just adding a V shape and inking it. Yeah. So I'm done with filling in those spaces. Now these auras, again I'm going back to them and adding orbs inside. Yeah, make sure there is no spaces in between the orbs and you ink the small little intersectices at the same time, or you can also come back to them later, right? So take your time and insert these orbs throughout. Yeah. So I'll do that here also. Slowly insert small little orbs in this, right? So we are done drawing the fragments. Now we move on to the rest of the tile. Again, either you can insert some fragments there also, draw a grid, square grid, any kind of a grid, and insert a third fragment, or we can go with some other tangle. So I'm going to go with a tangle called Nick, right? It is a tangle by CZT Bunny, right? And I'm going to draw this tangle here in the rest of the space. So I'm going to insert some diamond shapes as I draw these lines, right? So I'm closely drawing the first part of the line and then completing this diamond shape, again coming down, adding the diamond shape, coming down, right? Again starting a new one, adding the less than symbol to create one side of the diamond shape, greater than, come down, the greater than symbol, come down. Yeah, so that's the tangle nick. Again come down. So I'm randomly placing these diamond shapes, less than and greater than symbol, placed in such a way so it is up to you. How do you want to place it? Where do you want to place it? Take your time and slowly right. So I'm going to, that's one part of the tangle. I will do that on the other side also, right? So again start straight line, insert a less than sign, again less than, come down, straight, replicate aura, greater than sign, again come down, greater than sign, come down, again start another one, less than, come down, greater than, come down, greater than, come down, right? So that's the tangle nick. the basic outline of the tangle. That's not the complete tangle. We are going to add auras and fill in the in-between spaces. Right? Again, a pure line-based tangle. Very simple to draw, tangled by Bunny, right? Yeah. So once we have done that exercise, you can add some hidden ones here. Right? The next step is to aura, right? So aura from both sides, and in between it is up to you. What do you want to add? So I'm just going to aura the inner space and probably add an orb or add a cubine. Entirely up to you. How do you want to deal with the inner space? So I have aura'd inside, added a square, inked it in one corner, added the tangle cubine inside. Yeah. So take your time and do that exercise for all of these diamond shapes that you formed. Yeah. So once we are done with adding the cubine inside each of the diamond shape, the next step is just to aura. Right, so I'm just going to aura this shape from both sides at the same time, right? So take your time, take each section at a time, add auras and fill up the inner space. Yeah, so you can again fill it up like this, again go like this, again fill it up like this. Yeah, so your space is filled, and if you wish you can add some inking in between also, but that's entirely optional, up to you whether you want to do that or not. Some inking here and there will definitely add to the look. Yeah, again start to aura. You can also add some weight on the turnings like these spaces, right? So starting from the other side, again this space is filled, auras, auras and then auras, right? So that's how I'm going to continue. Now if you want this line can be prominent, the main line auraing the diamond, that line can be prominent if you want. Yeah, so entirely up to you, how do you want to do it. Yeah, so one or two lines prominent in between also works as far as the tangle nick is concerned, right? So I added some weight to the first line and then I'm just going to add auras on both sides. Again second level of aura, again second level of aura, like this. Yeah, so I'll do that for all. I hope you got a hang of the tangle. Auras, auras, auras. Yeah, so I'm still in the process of auraing my neck, the in between spaces. Adding some weight to one side of my neck and then auraing both sides, just mimicking the shape. Right, again adding some weight to this line and then auras, right? And the last one, take your time, be patient. Yeah. So small little spaces, if you want you can fill it here and there, as I mentioned. It will add to the look of the tangle. It's entirely optional. If you want to do it, you can. Same thing here. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah. So let us now move on to shading. Yeah. So as far as the centered part is concerned, again add shading on both sides. No need to add graphite on the ink section. Yeah. So let's blend it. So since the arrangement is such, I'm just adding graphite on both sides. Alternatively, you can also shade each of the fragment. Yeah. So you can darken one section of the orbs and give a high and low effect, right? That is also possible. So just add shading on one side of the orb and add some white charcoal on the other side. That is one more way to shade it. I feel like shading it like this right now. Right? So just shade the way you feel like at that point of time. So once we are done with that, now we'll just add some graphite on one side of our neck. Just after the bold line, like this, right? And we'll not blend too much. We also want the white portions to be discrete. So I'm just adding some graphite after the highlighted line. Yeah, and then just blend it. Very easy to shade. The dark portion recedes and the other portion which is not shaded suddenly pops up. So it gives a nice high and low effect to your neck. Yeah, you can see they look like shadow under your highlighted line. You can add some more graphite there. Yeah. I'll do the same on the other side. Add some graphite under the line that I highlighted. You can also give a touch on the cubine if you wish. If they are big enough, we will see that if you want to do that. Yeah. Right, so if you want, you can touch on one side of the cubine if they are big enough. If they are too tiny, you can do away with that step. You don't want too much of gray there, right? So I'm just touching my cubine without adding too much. Yeah, and same thing on the other side also. Yeah. Yeah, I think we are done. The last thing is the chalk. So we have shaded it in a manner that chalk becomes indispensable. You must highlight the center. Yeah, so pick up your chalk pencil and just add a line in between. And same here. You can do that at times with your jelly roll also, but jelly roll looks too made up. This looks more natural. Just brush off the excess, soften it, and our tile is ready. Yeah, so there are two fragments here. I've used the first fragment that I used here is, so this fragment that we used here is fragment D21. This is fragment D21, right? And the second fragment that we used here is L24. Right? So we used these two fragments today inside the orbs, right? And we used a tangle called Nick by CZT Bunny, right? Yeah. So don't forget to initial your tile and sign and date it. Right? Yeah. So I'll see you again as we further our journey with fragments. Now try arranging the same fragments in different ways. Yeah, you can also try them drawing inside squares, right? You can always do that. For example, I'll just show you. If this is a square, you can always try drawing these fragments inside a square also, like this. The four sides, right? Or the other one that we drew, try drawing it like this. So basically what I'm trying to say is experiment, explore. These are ideas. So try putting it inside square also and then see how you form meta patterns, right? For example, two of these consecutive squares together will definitely form a meta pattern because you will complete this circle, right? Like this. So it will form a different kind of a pattern. So we'll explore more of these as we further progress. Let us first stick to basics and learn some drawing some interesting fragments, and then we'll explore more about meta patterns, right? Bye bye. Thank you.